It's Annie again, and I am here with another 10 years in 10 minutes talk. Today, I'm going to talk about the two types of control. Control is an interesting thing because in business, we all come together to get results, right? Leaders and teams and individuals inside a business. It's like we are playing the game of achieving outcomes. And to achieve outcomes, we human beings in general are hardwired to control as much as we can to get a result. That, I think that makes sense. We might even call that agency. Like, what can I do to get a result? Oh my gosh, that's just how we learn. We learn, what do we have to do differently? And what do we need to control to get a result? Okay, so here's the thing. Once we really get into business and we get a certain level of success, we start to realize that, ever more success we don't get more control. We get less because things get more complex. Things get less predictable. We are, as we grow, we are so much more impacted by things that happen outside our company and in the environment, things that we have zero control over. That doesn't stop us from wanting control. Why I want to talk about the two types of control is because it's something that we are going to need to learn to be okay with less and less control. To be okay, meaning that we still have agency, we're still going to do what we can, but we are not going to push for controlling something that we can't control because it will backfire. And I'm going to give some examples. Okay. Two types of control. Most people, really have a bias to one or the other. Like most personalities will, have a go-to. And I'm going to start with the go-to that is actually not mine. It's my husband's and many, many people on the planet. And it is the control of where someone wants to control how others behave, what others do. These people, when they're under stress and challenge and they're trying to increase their control to get a result, they will become demanding. They might become critical. They will tell you what to do. So one of the things my husband can get very stressed about is when I'm late to somewhere. And in that case, he can get very demanding, very critical. He's really wanting to be able to control me getting somewhere on time. I hope that makes sense. Okay. There's a second type of control that we don't usually think of as control, but it is. And it's equally a problem. The problem part I'm going to talk about in a minute, but it's equally a problem for human beings as they progress in business, in growth, in taking on bigger and more challenging things. Okay. And that control is controlling how others perceive us. So that's the control I want. I want to control how others see me. Okay. So under stress and challenge, I will become either very avoidant, right? The last thing I want is conflict. I actually don't care all that much about controlling what other people do. I'm actually pretty good if they fly off the handle as long as it's not involving me. I don't need to control what others do. Okay. But I very much want to control how others perceive me. So my other go-to is that I will become very pleasing. I'm the person who will say yes to something, even if I mean no or maybe, if there's so much pressure that I can't handle it, that my way of taking back control of the situation is to say something pleasing that, that controls how somebody perceives me, right? Because for whatever reason, the thing that makes me feel unsafe is when I think people are going to be upset with me. So those are really important to know because when we get more controlling, when we are trying to up our level of control, it is almost always out of reactivity. It's almost always out of a situation where we are going into self-protection, where we are feeling bad about something, fearful about something, maybe shame about something. And we want to have that situation change immediately to make ourselves feel better. The thing about upping your level of control in most of those situations in that way, in the self-protective kind of control, is that it doesn't solve the problem. It makes it worse. It makes it worse. Okay. So when my husband becomes super controlling for, telling me when to, have I left by a certain time to get to, the restaurant, or how I'm doing with packing. Yeah, that's always a thing. Like, let's go. Are you going to be ready? All of that, that kind of hyper control. Okay. So when he's becoming that way towards me, how do you think I'm responding? I'm actually not moving faster. I'm actually getting flustered, and I'm starting to move slower. so it backfires. Same with mine, with mine, that, if I'm under pressure and, maybe my husband is unhappy with something and he asks me to commit to a date that is for an early thing that I know I'm going to struggle with. Okay. But I'll say yes in that moment, knowing that I'm going to disappoint him later. And that has worse consequences than if I could have just, in that moment, not been so controlling of how I'm being perceived, right? To know that, oh, there I go again. Like, there's me wanting to protect myself in a way that isn't really protection. It's going to backfire. And so we want to start getting an understanding of that. And also to just know that when you are with somebody and they are becoming avoidant or pleasing, oh, that's their self-protective control. That's their habit of trying to get them, make themselves psychologically safe, even though it will backfire. Same with people that get super demanding and critical, right? They're just different sides of the same polarity, the same reactive emotional reactions that are designed, for a time when we didn't have the kinds of problems in business that we have today. That's coming from our primitive brain, right? From our reactivity. And so get a good understanding of your control triggers, right? Of what you're trying to control. And especially if you have the kind of control that is about trying to control what others think of you, not what others do. Because I think until I learned that, I was pretty sure I was not a control freak. Okay. We all can be control freaks. And just what you want to control is the thing that this is really all about. Just because controlling how you're being perceived is the same. Might sort of look nice. It's not nicer. It just lets you disappoint people later, which is not good. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, and hope this is helpful. And I look forward to seeing you again. To learn more about this episode's topic, pick up a copy of my book, The People Part, at your favorite book retailer or at